Yan. Recording started. So, ayun. So, welcome everybody. Kamusta kayo? So, Miss Kata won't be able to join us today because she attended the PyCon. Nakakaingit. Sana all. Sana all na lang. So, today's session is just about a candid discussion. So, no pressure, just good vibes and lots of inspiration and learning sa mga sharers natin today. Siguro ipakilala ko na yung first sharer natin. Okay lang ba? Itong first sharer natin, grabe, one of the community leaders to, and she's with the industry for 2 years na, and he's using AWS services, AWS QuickSight, S3, Python, SQL, Postgres. So, kung meron kayong mga questions about those tools, alam nyo na kung sino yung kung kanino kayo magre-reach out. So, our first sharer today, he is a business intelligence analyst, and without further ado, please take the floor, Sir Ian James.
Hello, good morning, good morning. Ayan, so, um, ayan. Sige, I'll just, have it medyo informal kasi sabi ko nga, yung parang kwento ko nung kay Kata and yung parang medyo, kung kwento kay Casey was, I had a very long road before ako before ako change into a data professional. So, I've been working as a chemical engineer for 13 years, pero super iba't ibang industries. If I may say na um, company hopper, siguro isa ako sa mga ganun. Or I could be one of the pinaka. Kasi parang I had to work for at least one company a year for various reasons. Ganun. Pero it just so happened na when I started kasi for the data role, nasa BPO industry na ako, which is the same company I'm working with now. So I've been, parang more than 3 years na ako dito. Pero nung before noon, yun, hindi ako kasi marunong mag-sales, pero trinay ko siya mag-sales. Tapos nagkaroon ako ng project sa mga parang contract work sa government to company, to agencies yun. And then, yan, palipat-lipat ako. So, I've been dealing with chemicals, equipment, mga ganun siya. So, when I started on the data journey, yun, wait, nangyari doon. Naging, uh, I was in operations before sa BPO. So, plan ko talaga maging team lead, operations manager, or operations director, yun sana yung goal ko. But then someone told me na, baka ito yung mas fit sa'yo kasi mathematically, may mathematical competency ka. Baka ito yung field na mo. So that was January 2023. Pero alam nila nag-aaral na ako for a little bit sometime na like may Coursera, may Project Sparta, ganun. And then from January 2023 up until June that year, tinry kong i-master yung mga natutunan ko, and then so naipasok ako sa BI team, na-promote ako doon because of that potential. So doon na ako nahasa. So from Python, SQL, platform namin sa AWS QuickSight, lahat yun super recent lang. From August na up until now, yun yung namin. So what were the major lessons? Don't stop learning. Kasi siya mas, if I may say na parang kinompress ko yung learnings ko into 1.5 year just to be just para lang makapasok dun sa isang posisyon na gusto ko dahil internal siya and napakadali ng process nun. Put it into practice, yun yung pinaka. But another challenge is don't think about how do I say it? Question, sino sa inyo nagde-data camp ngayon? If ever, kung lang, emoji lang kung nagde-data camp. Yan. So, don't use data camp as your platform kapag nag-practice kayo ng data sets. Kasi maguguluhan kayo kapag nasa real life scenario and practice kayo. Always try to use public data sets or always try to use Kaggle data sets dahil hindi siya malinis. So yun. So mapapractice yung paglilinis, extract, transform, load, lahat ng data flows, data process steps nyo, including yung end-to-end. If you're planning for visualization, for the role of visualization, always think about the 8 basic steps for visualization. Yan. Tapos yung mga formatting, gano'n. And yung pinaka-challenge, date, time zone. Yan lang. So, yun lang ang maliit kong kwento. I know napahaba siya, pero yun, I hope meron kayong natutunan. So, if you have any questions, ask away. Ginagawa ko ngayon, and what does that mean na ginagawa? Para kay Snappy Guy. Pwede kang mag-share if you want. Ay, wala. Siguro basically what andito na ba si Snappy Guy? Ayun, go if you want to ask away.
Oh, you can unmute yourself. You can, don't be
Yes.
shy. Just ask questions.
Kasi kwentuhan lang to.
Kwentuhan lang to.
Kachi-kachi lang. Kachi-kachi lang. Or sige, I'll think, Casey, I'll think na parang ganito, day in the life. At least So, if I understand think what I do as a BI analyst, number 1, reports development. Kasi business intelligence is parang basically, you give your executives intelligent decisions. That's how I frame it. Give them intelligent decisions on what to do next. Kasi currently my industry's business process outsourcing. So we have to make sure na we meet our contractual obligations with our clients and accounts kasi we have to maintain that very thin line dahil kapag hindi na-meet yun at the end of the contract period, it's so usually 1 year yan, 1 year renewable. Kapag hindi namin na-meet yan, end contract, hahanap si client ng panibagong outsource company. And then, the impact would be mawawala na trabaho ang mga ahente. So, I just want to state an example na parang I have, there was one account na stop operations lang siya. So, That was December. Wala kaming magawa. We have to downsize. Pero na-save naman yung kalahati niya. Na-save naman, not just na, parang kalahati ba? Or ano. Tapos, it, ano siya, 100 people na wala. 14 na tira. So parang ganun. So we have to do it like, we have to give them information na parang they would meet that. So parang it's basically a form of scorecard pero napaka-expansive. So, so yun. I'll go through that road, Christian. So para ano na natin. So start kami sa raw data na galing dun sa tool ni client. So like for example, it's Salesforce or a specialized call tool or a specialized quality tool. Tapos ipo-process namin siya. We'll formulate the agreed upon calculations para ma-hit namin ma-achieve namin yung minimum KPIs. Minimum KPIs meaning key performance executives and the performance metrics. So ang pinaka main key performance metric ni client, for example, sa isang client, meron siyang 4, pero there are 17 performance metrics na kailangan i-meet. So you have to calculate that with per tool. Tapos 4 yung tools niya, i-synthesize mo siya, tapos saka mo siya ikakabit. Yan. Now, from there, namin siya ikakabit? So, ang pinaka-workflow niyan, start dun sa pinaka-raw data, ETL siya, tapos i-house namin sa S3. We're using Amazon ecosystem. So, combination siya kapag may API connection, we do API, tapos ilalagay na namin siya sa, gagamitin namin ng Athena to house it sa S3. And then, Postgre para ma-reprocess yung data loading. And then, ang front-end namin is Amazon QuickSight. So, meron kaming data engineer. Actually, meron kaming data engineer na in-house. Hindi ko magaling parang siya yung nagpa-process. Tapos kami parang po-processing na lang. Ilo-load niya kasi ang dami nun. I will not disclose kung ilan specific yung accounts, pero you can definitely say na marami. And I'm handling some of them. Kasi iba-iba yung tools, iba-iba yung data sources, iba-iba yung data sets. Tapos i-compile mo siya with different So Postgre, gagamitin mo Postgre, gagamitin mo yung ETL tools, gagamitin yung ETL tools ng Amazon. And then at the same time, yung mga hindi talaga namin magagawa, nagmamanual ETL kami. Python, matik yun. Yan, for example, data cleansing, data validation. Before namin yung ikarga, mag-check pa kami sa Depende sa Kasi depende yan sa data center. So like for example, kami ang gamit namin is Northeast para mabilis yung takbo nung Tapos yung storage, Singapore. US Northeast ang lahat ng data flow processes. So yun. Yun yung pagkakaalam ko na And then at the same time, kapag merong hindi kaya, nag-set up kami ng virtual machine. Lalo na sa mga high level na processing. And yun, front end namin, AWS QuickSight, Amazon QuickSight. So meron ba nakakaalam? So, hindi ko pala pwedeng kasi naka-record siya. Ayun. And ayan, Amazon QuickSight, super iba siya compared sa the usual Power BI or Tableau. Kasi Power BI and Tableau nakagawa ka ng schemas. Kung data modeling, start with a schema. Yung isa sa mga major missed opportunity ko before. Kasi in terms of both, ano siya, merong SQL, pwede ka mag-manual SQL sa website eh. Kapag clean na yung data mo, pwede mo na siyang i-NoSQL, as in pwede mo na siyang itabit. Tapos, pero kapag kailangan talaga nagsi-SQL kami sa loob. And hindi siya yung norm, and hindi siya yung compared sa Power BI na mayroong Power Query, no? Kasi talagang legit na SQL code sa loob. Before mo siya ikarga nakarga pa siya sa akin. Ayun. Um, Siguro a good, I may not be a good example for data modeling kasi yung natutunan kong processing kasi sa website was hindi siya yung normal na connection na makakagawa ka ng Snowflake or Star Schema. Um, yung pinaka-main dataset mo nasa left, tapos lahat ng connectors mo nasa right. Tapos, um, you may imagine na parang ano siya, Snowflake schema siya, pero ang latag niya ikakabit siya dun lahat sa left. Sa yung ganun. Tapos you have to maintain a very central file na lahat ng kunyari credentials, roster, or something, yung mga primary keys, dun mo siya ilalagay. We have yung naging challenge namin na kailangan namin gumawa ng isang file to house the whole thing. Lahat ng mga primary keys and foreign keys na kailangan namin. Dun siya sa isang central file. Ayan. Pero kung if ever na super clean na yung data na dumating sa amin, pwede na namin siyang ikabit directly. Then all good na yan. Magagawa na siya. Legit na data sa.
Grabe, ang dami ko natutunan kay Sir ngayon. Thank you, Sir, for sharing all your experience sa work and tools that you use. May mga questions pa ba for Sir Ian? Siguro later, I'll try to answer your question, Luis, on what the data model, what's any tips on data modeling, what data model to start to learn. Any questions? Good. Sir, do you want to give final advice or lessons, or do you want to intro our next sharer?
Siguro final word, siguro one important thing na you will know about is your colleagues are your friends. So, um, mas lalo akong natuto dahil very open yung mga colleagues ko na maging mentors ko. And that's a culture na we have established na parang we tried our best na talaga cherish your colleagues kasi definitely they are your they, you might not call them family, but you will definitely call them friends. Yeah. And you will learn a lot, and they will learn a lot from you as well. So yun ang that's the final.
Grabe, ang ganda naman ng message na yun, and medyo related din dun yung aking i-share later. Medyo may hugot ako sa ganyan, sir. So, napaka-importante talaga ng you build relationship with your colleagues talaga. Okay.
Ayun. So, I'll introduce yung yung sa speaker. So yung next speaker natin is 7 years na siya on the data space, where ang current role niya is data scientist. So, ayan. So, yung mga may alam, so yung may questions or parang interest in Python, SQL, Tableau, and Power BI. Isa siya sa one of the leaders that you can, leaders and mentor you can count on. So, without further ado, let's introduce Sir JP.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, I think. Um, so, thank you for that introduction. I wanted this to be more conversational and informal. So, if you have any questions, feel free to chat away in the chat box. I just want to share my screen for. Okay, just to summarize now my experience. Is the presentation showing? Is the PowerPoint?
Yep. Teka,
Okay.
sir. Ang nakikita ko is store, library, community, friendly ghost games yata to, sir.
Teka, sorry. Team pala.
Okay, mercy, sir.
Sorry, pang Gen Z kasi tong ano eh. Pang Gen Z masyado tong Discord.
Correct. Ay, grabe. Kanina nahirapan talaga ako kung paano kapain tong Discord.
Wow. Okay, teka. Ayan. I think okay na. Tama, no?
Ayan, ayan. Nakikita na namin, sir, yung presentation slides. Yes.
Okay. So, I also consider myself as a career shifter, no, having studied a different, somehow related field, but still different field from data industry or data science or even data engineering or business intelligence or analytics, no. But my career started. I finished a degree in applied mathematics, major in actuarial science. So naturally, after graduation, I pursued the I pursued a career in the actuarial industry. So for 4 years, I worked in Willis Towers Watson as an actuarial analyst. And then after 4 years, I decided to shift career. There were a lot of reasons, but I think the top reason was I wanted to do something that has more impact than what I did before. Um, s- Parang feeling ko very minuscule ng impact ko as an actuarial analyst as compared to some data science, parang data science projects that can help leaders make decisions for the company. So that was one of the main reasons why I shifted to the data industry. But I hardly know of data science that time. Parang meron lang akong friend in the actuarial, meron lang akong colleague in Willis Towers Watson. She's also working as an actuarial analyst then. But her background is statistics. So she had a lot of friends working for SAS. It's one of the parang vendors din siya, like parang, sorry. One of the providers na mga data science solutions or even analytics and data engineering solutions. So doon ako nagka-idea kung ano yung data science. I also like coding. So sabi niya na maraming coding doon. So yun. Um, so I guess hindi na ako nag-explore ng ibang industry kasi parang na-entice na ako sa data science, having read yung mga iba't ibang mga projects sa data science. Parang sabi ko, oh, parang align to sa gusto ko na may impact kasi nga yung data science na nakikita ko noon, parang, oh, they created models, that blah, blah, blah. So, yun. So, my first stint in the analytics industry is with Zlift Solutions. So, it's one of the consulting firms in the Philippines. I'm not sure if you know of Zlift, but if you know Michelle Alarcon, she's a big person in the analytics and AI industry. She's part of the AAP. She's the managing consultant of Zlift Solutions. So she's our boss. She's my boss then. So it's very, I would say in the small, back then kasi 2017, 2018, it was still a small circle. So Zilif and Michelle is like known, no, across the industry. So so yun, analytics consultant. I started as an analytics consultant. Then after 2 years, I realized that I needed to learn something more. I was I guess no, I kasi in the actuarial analyst, not naman na I'm bragging, but I was like excelling as an actuarial analyst. I was the technical expert. Like people come to me for questions. I train people. I train across. I train people abroad. No, because I was the expert. But for the analytics industry, I felt that I not naman lagging behind, but I was not trained for it because I studied actuarial science for 4 years now. So for the analytics industry, I thought I was not ready. So I wanted to learn more. That's why I enrolled in AIM there for the master's in data science. One of my goals also is to earn a master's degree. I didn't include here, but I also tried a master's degree in applied mathematics before I shifted to analytics consultant. But hindi ko rin na-pursue, parang one sem lang ako. So, yun, yung goal ko was to earn a master's degree, to learn more about data science, and to meet new people also. So those were my three main reasons why I enrolled in a master's degree. So, kasi I'm not saying naman that everyone should enroll in a master's degree. It really depends on your goal and your learning style. I think my learning style kasi is more in a classroom setup or organized setup. Medyo competitive kasi ako. So, I think it works better for me. Pero the irony of it all kasi I took up the master's degree while during the pandemic, so we had to shift to an online method. So, medyo nag-struggle din ako doon. Ayun. Tapos after graduation, finishing the master's program, I worked for AIA Philippines. So insurance again. Back to insurance. It's related to my background, the actuarial science. So I work as a data science consultant for a year in their customer experience team. After a year with AIA, so I got an opportunity to relocate to Estonia, in Europe, and yeah, the rest is history. So, what were these? I don't know. What were these experience taught me, or what did they prepare me for? So, for the USD, it's really I think almost same naman lahat tayo na yung undergrad is always the foundational skills. No? It's building the foundation, not only for the technical skills, but also soft skills because you're essentially, uh, you are, yung mga classmates nyo, diba? You deal with your classmates, you deal with different people from different walks of life. Although here, kasi it's not really a lot of adjustment as compared to the professional experience kasi here same age group kayo eh. So you have the same interests also, but still no as a fresh from high school, you start to learn how to deal with other people. Then for the Towers Watson, it's really figuring out my passion and interest. Um, I would say that I enjoyed my work in the actorial industry. I was imagine one day, uh, a day in my life as an actorial analyst. I was Excel lang open for more than 8 hours a day. So we worked crazy long hours back then. So more than 8 hours a day, I'm Excel yung open. I was calculating. I have my calculator with me. I have Excel with me. I really developed my Excel skills, and I really liked how technical it was. So yun. But still, it wasn't my passion, or it was not my excuse me, it was not my interest. Then with Zlif naman, it's really assessing my skill set. Kasi everything here I learned from scratch. So I learned RStudio, I learned Tableau, I learned a bit of Power BI, I learned about bit of SQL. Because coding for me back in college was C++, and coding in Towers Watson is close to C++. So it was entirely different to coding SQL language or RStudio or Python even. So it was a bit different for me, but still, no, it was, I guess, kasi C++, you learn it through parang algorithmic coding eh, and everything is, for me, parang algorithmic naman. So it was natural for me to learn a new programming language. But still, no, I still feel that I was not skillful enough. So, AIM, it was really more of pursuing self growth and development. And then for AIA, it was testing my new learnings and skills. Kung worth it ba yung masters ko if I learned something, di ba? Parang you entered a master's program pero wala ka naman matututunan. So it's really important to see how you improve after your master's. And then for Nabu Minds, it's for relocating abroad naman, it's really more about taking a new challenge in my career. And not only in my career, but also in my personal life. I think now I'm more focused in my personal life than in my career, to be honest. But yeah. So what are the technical skill sets that I learned? So for undergrad, it's more Excel and basic programming, statistics. For Tower Software, it's Excel and coding. For Zlif, it's Tableau, our studio, and dealing with clients since we are a consulting company. For AIM, it's Python and SQL, but also a lot of like heavy machine learning, deep learning, big data. I started dabbling with cloud, AWS, and Git also. For AIA, it's Python and Power BI, and yeah. And then also like being in the actual customer. I mean, because Zlif is a consulting company, so we are parang dealing with clients. But in AIA, I am part of the company na. So it's a bit different. Then for Nabumind, it's Python, SQL, Tableau, and DBT, MLflow. It's a bit more structured in Nabuminds because we have core data engineering team and machine learning DevOps team. So parang yung mga operationalization that I really am not familiar with because my background is not software engineering. So medyo hindi ko pa rin talaga siya alam. Pero yun, parang mga Docker, Terraform, blah blah blah. Yeah. Tips, same lang kay Sir Ian kanina na never stop learning. Build your portfolio, grow and expand your network, and it's not about quantity but quality. Yun yung napansin ko kasi sa LinkedIn ngayon na parang ginagawa na siyang parang Friendster and Facebook. No offense, but I feel that it's really about quality. I mean, I got the opportunity to relocate abroad because of a connection. And it just took me one, di ba? It just took me one network. Like, I have a colleague that who referred me to work abroad. So, isa lang kailangan nyo. Hindi nyo kailangan ng 1,000, 5,000, or 10,000 man. And don't be scared. So, final parting words is take a leap of faith. Every time I jump into a new opportunity, it's really a leap of faith. Yun. So, that's my short story. Sorry, parang napahaba ba.
Grabe, napaka-inspiring ng story mo, sir. Ang dami naming natutunan. Actually, grabe. Alam niyo na kung kanino kayo lalapit kapag kayong mga actuarial science ang interest ninyo? Ayan, kay Sir JP tayo. Okay. So, siguro, punta na tayo sa next sharer. And, yun, ako na
Introduce yourself, ganon.
Introduce.
Self-intro.
Quick intro. Actually, may hinanda rin akong slides. Yan, syempre, nasa Data Masters tayo, di ba nga? Ang pinapractice natin dito is yung presentation skills and communication skills natin. And besides, I'm a very, parang, tawag doon, kailangan may nakikita akong visual person. Kailangan may nakikita akong something na mag-guide sa akin kung ano yung gusto kong sabihin. So, let me just share my screen. Ayan. Nakikita ba ang aking slides? Hello? Okay ba? Ayan.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Ayan. So, hello everyone. My name is Christine. I'm a lead data engineer at Field. It's a dating app based here in the UK. And I have 17 years of data professional experience. So that's a quick introduction about myself. How did my career in data started? Siguro, before I forgot, my current data stack are these tools. So we're using Snowflake, we're using dbt, we're using Fivetran, Amplitude Stitch. So as you can see, it's more heavily cloud-based technology because we're following a modern data kind of structure. And so if you have any interest in one of these tools, kung meron kayong gustong matutunan in more detail, or just feel free to reach out to me. So maybe we can schedule one of the Data Master sessions on one of these tools kung may interest kayo sa anything related to this one. So, my data career journey. So, my data career began in 2008 when I had the opportunity to work for a consulting company back in the Philippines. My first job involved building a data warehouse, developing ETL pipelines, creating OLAP, cubes, designing dashboards and reports. Basically, to be very honest, I don't have any idea about data at all. So I graduated as IT sa Computer University, and then I remember yung dean namin, parang pinagsasabit lang kami ng resume kasi may isang company na parang nag-outsource, parang naghihingi ng mga list of new graduates dun sa school namin. And then, ayun, nag-submit lang kami ng resume, and I received a call, first interview, and then naalala ko nun, parang, ina-explain sa akin yung role, pero hindi siya mag-sink in kasi wala akong idea totally. Hindi naman namin yung pinag-aralan nung college. Pero, thankfully, I'm so grateful na nakuha ko yung trabaho, and that's how that's how it began. Basically, yung foundation ko, yung first job ko is yung first job ko. Doon ko lang siya natutunan. And it's a consulting company. That's why I get an opportunity to earn certifications. We're using Microsoft Business Intelligence that time. So SQL Server, SSAS for OLAP, SSRS for building reports, SSIS more on traditional Microsoft business intelligence. And so, but then I realized how powerful data can be in driving decisions, because I remember I was deployed sa insurance company, sa AXA, sa telecommunication company, sa Globe. So parang doon ko na-start conceptualize kung ano ba talaga yung purpose ng role. And what truly inspired me was seeing how data isn't just a number. It tells a story and it creates real impact. Parang data is at the core of everything eh. Parang, bakit ganito yung performance natin? Then everyone will look at the data. Kasi ito yung trend na nakikita nila sa data nila. So parang, okay, sabi ko, very interesting pala itong pinasok kong trabaho. And then along the way, I had an amazing mentors and masasabi ko talagang role model who helped me really see the bigger picture and encouraged me to really step up. So that's why I also wanted to pay forward and also help others to grow in their data careers too. So medyo nakakonect ako dun sa sinabi ni Sir Ian and ni Sir JP about building your soft skills. Because one of the biggest lessons I've learned in my career is that technical skills will open doors, but relationships and adaptability, masasabi ko, will take you further. What do I mean by that? I mean, paano ba? You can be the most skilled data engineer, right? But if you can communicate, if you can collaborate, or if you can adapt to change, your impact will be limited. So, importante talaga na you build strong relationships, whether it's with your teammates, whether it's with your stakeholders, or your mentors. It makes all the difference. Kasi, ma-share ko lang yung boss ko, dito sa third job ko, which is at Financial Times, is siya yung nagdala sa akin sa next job ko, sa next, ang up to sa current na role ko. So masasabi ko na siguro sinuwerte lang din ako na natagpuan ko o nakapag-build ako ng strong relationship do sa boss ko nung dito sa Financial Times, and also sa colleagues ko. Kasi sila yung tumulong din sa akin, yung network ko sa company na to, yung tumulong sa akin kung bakit nasaan ako kung ngayon. Masasabi kong ganun. So napaka-importante talaga na you build a strong network, especially if you're starting in this industry, kasi sila rin talaga yung tutulong sa'yo. And of course, syempre hindi mawawala din yung work ethics mo. Syempre nakikita din naman nila kung how you perform, and hindi kasi sa ngayon hindi na lang din importante kung yung technical skills. Well, importante yun, napaka-importante yun. Pero I mean, what do I mean by that? Hindi na lang yun yung tinitignan eh. For example, I was part of the interview panel. Parang every time na mag-i-interview ako, nakikita ko yung resume, grabe, galing sa mga big schools. Ang galing nung the way he communicate his thoughts, grabe talaga. Pero pagka pinag-decide na namin within our team kung sino yung i-hire namin, doon pa rin sila tumitingin sa culture fit eh. So tinitignan nila if yung personality ba ng tao is fit doon sa culture ng team or ng company. So napaka-importante rin talaga na you build your soft skills kasabay ng technical skills. Given na yun, technical skills yun yung passion mo, talagang inaaral mo siya. Pero wag natin kalimutan yung soft skills, yung communication skills, how you collaborate with people, how you explain your thoughts sa tao, di ba? Napakahirap, napaka-technical nung trabaho natin. Tapos, paano mo siya padadaliin? Paano mo siya i-explain in a simple term na business user can understand without technical jargons. So yun yung masasabi ko na talagang nakatulong sa akin, and I would like to also share sa mga aspiring data professionals. So yun, and then, but teka lang, hindi kasi ako tumitingin sa Discord. May mga questions pa. How did you consider studying certifications? Medyo hindi ako makarelate. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng CompTIA Data Plus, Data 6, and Data X? Sir Ian, Sir JP? Pwedeng pa-help?
Ano siya, um, CompTIA is parang generalized IT certification group siya. So, iba-iba yan. May cybersecurity, merong front-end, back-end, DevOps, Pero parang bago lang yung Data Plus sa kanila. Na-encounter ko si CompTIA, 2017, 2018, pero iba yung field ko nun. So, hindi ko siya iniintindi. Pero as in, tinatry nila na maging parang industry standard for IT. Lahat-lahat na, including, from everything from back-end to front-end. Pero for me, if you're thinking about specific tech stack na, for example, for front-end, like Power BI, Tableau, or AWS, you have the leeway na mas matikas yung tech, yung platform specific na certification compared sa generalized. So mostly generalized yung yung scope ni CompTIA, as far as I know.
Well, personally sa akin naman, yung sa first job ko kasi, it's a consulting company. So required talaga kaming to pass Microsoft certification. Wala akong choice. So, but ewan ko kung ano pa rin siya. I think meron pa rin yung mga Microsoft certifications kung dun sa industry na ganun kayo mapupunta. So, ayun. So, siguro last final words na lang from me. Ang maipapayo ko lang is learn the core skills. Importante yan. SQL, Python, data modeling, cloud platforms. But don't stop there. Be curious about the why behind the data. It's important to understand the impact talaga yung ginagawa mong trabaho eh. And lastly, surround yourself with a strong community. Like, napakaswerte natin na meron tayong Data Engineering Pilipinas. Back then, nung nagsisimula ako, walang ganito. Totally, nag-start lang ako sa mga e-book, books, trainings. Yun lang talaga yung source of knowledge and yun lang talaga. So, napakaswerte natin na meron tayong community like this, na may mga community leaders who's very generous to share their learnings and experiences then, and very generous din with their time na kung may questions kayo, don't be shy. Just reach out to them. And yeah, and siguro don't be afraid then to engage in this kind of session. If you really wanted to parang improve yung, for example, yung soft skills nyo, yung communication skills nyo, yung presentation skills nyo, let it be like, feel free to come up with an idea or even just a simple presentation na you'd like to practice. Ang ganda nung mga nakaraan nating session, yung resume building, resume roast. Pinanood ko yung mga recordings. So that's the starting point, tama ba? Kasi kung if you're a student or a fresh grad or career shifter, yun talaga yung una mong kakaririn kung how you build your CV and how you will ace the interview. But after that, what's next? So, importante talaga na you continuously building your skill set, both technical and soft skills. So, yun lang. May mga questions pa before I answer Sir Luis yung kaninang question about data modeling. DBT certification, junior DE with almost 2. Sobrang worth it yun. Kasi, I don't know if you're in the DBT community, Slack, marami doon talaga mga job postings. So, if you want, parang kung gusto mong mas ahead ka sa mga nag-a-apply, well, una rin naman titignan ng mga hiring managers is if you're certified, diba? So, why not? If yun yung interest mo, go for it. So, sagutin ko yung question mo, Sir Luis, about what data modeling should you choose to start to learn. Siguro I would say, try to start with Kimball. Well, personally, dun kasi ako nag-start Kimball methodology. Kasi yun yung mas close sa business. If you're kind of building a data warehouse or data mart, you will build something like a dimension and fact table. So, mas close siya sa business. Well, meron pang ibang type of data modeling, which is Data Vault, pero more on the integration or enterprise data warehouse na siya. So I would advise na you start with Kimball. I don't know if Sir JP or Sir Ian, meron kayong ma-recommend or any thoughts around data modeling?
Ako, ano dyan? Di pa ako gamay dyan. Ano pa siya? Waterloo ko pa siya hanggang ngayon.
Thank you, sir. No props. So ask question, share what you know, keep pushing forward. Use this platform, use this channel to practice. Don't be afraid, don't be shy. Lahat naman tayo dito, continuous learning. Sabi nga, di ba, ni Sir Ian and Sir JP. We never stop learning. Kasi yung data, di ba, ano siya talagang is constantly evolving. So, there's no single path to success. So, kailangan lang natin constantly nag-a-adapt din sa technology. So for example, yung AI group study, napakagandang topic na talagang if you really want to involve sa study group na yon, go for it. Kung may time ka, if you want to commit, go for it. Lahat naman tayo dito nagsisimula parang ako, kung given na may time, meron kasi akong anak so hindi ko alam kung kaya pa ng oras ko during weekends mag-commit every Saturday to attend the AI study group. But I'm really willing to learn din talaga AI. Yan yung ating dyan na tayo papunta Lahat na ngayon ng tools may AI. Even yung itong mga ginagamit naming tech stack, para lahat merong AI involved dyan, yung CastorDoc, Monte Carlo, DBT, Snowflake, yung AI Copilot, lahat na naka-integrate na dyan. So, very interesting din talaga yung topic na yun. So, if you have time, energy, please join those initiatives. So there's one question, Seth, do you have any advice or insight for us career shifter to start on different industries as aspiring data engineer? I'm still not sure po which industry I want to start as my first DE job in the future, pero very interested po ako ng slice sa e-commerce industry. Ayan, sa mga career shifters natin, Sir Ian, meron ba kayong ma-advise which industry? Siguro, for me personally, it's not the industry Tama ba? But
Oo.
maybe ako lang yun. Pero siguro, if you really passionate na in terms of e-commerce, maganda yun. Kasi, maganda yung data set nila. I mean, maganda yung data na involved dun sa company na yun. So, I don't know. Sir Ian, medyo pinaprocess ko pa yung questions.
Kung ano, actually ganito, ako parang different approach. Kasi when in terms of e-commerce, yung data source mo is very ano na, kumbaga ano na siya, in a way malinis na siya kasi magagaling siya sa e-commerce platforms like Amazon, Spotify, ano ba yun? Shopify, mga ganun yung magiging ano niya. But I'm probably thinking na you would be interested in local like Shopee, Lazada, ganun na magiging approach if I'm not mistaken. Um, pero kapag mga smaller organizations like small teams na sila yung e-commerce agency na nagpo-process, nagdo-dropshipping, mga ganun. Sometimes mapapaisip ka na you have to do the end-to-end. Pero hindi na ganun ka ano, pero yun you have to learn Looper Studio kasi yun yung sometimes gusto nila kasi may mga API connections na yun with other tools like Trello, Asana. Medyo malayo na siya dun sa topic ng ano. Pero if local yung pinag-uusapan, I think meron tayong, I'm not sure if meron tayong na working na sa um, working na sa mga e-commerce companies like Shopee and Lazada. Nandito rin naman sila sa community. So you may try to look for kung sino sila, I'm not sure. Pero kapag smaller, yan, you have to do the end-to-end. Yun yung masasabi ko lang. Then,
Thank you, sir.
so may
San,
question dito.
did you have moments
Do you
of
have
frustration?
moments of frustration or self-doubt while learning something new? How did you handle them? I can relate 100%.
Ako din. Ang ganda ng tanong ni Ma'am.
Definitely as a career, definitely, lalo na kapag career shifter ka, Diyos ko po, everything is new. The first time na nakita ko yung yung sa PG admin, kahit yung GUI lang ng Postgre, nabaliw na ako. Pero you have to be, kumbaga, mo siya, ang first thing na gagawin mo is try to think of a mindset na, kasi ang unang papasok sa isip mo, ano to? Hindi ko alam to. Paano to? Hindi ko kaya to.
Yes.
That's yung pinakauna talaga, lalabas at lalabas. But then again, and what will happen is, sasabihin mo sa sarili mo, sige. The first thing that you need to think of is, paano ba to? And you have a lot of materials and resources available, lalo na sa mga super common na mga platforms. Pag sinabi mong MySQL, PostgreSQL, meron na yan sa YouTube. If you have doubts, you can try to organize things using ChatGPT just to have you sa caveat lang, huwag mong iasa lahat sa GPT. Mawawala yung main thought process mo kapag tumakbo yung like for example, kailangan mo nang mag-set up ng SQL query. Mawawala yung thought process, tapos pag next na project na gagawin mo, yun, aasa ka ulit. Habang mawawala ka dun sa main objective mo na matututo ka. So, yun yung one thing na dapat dapat na maisip before going into thinking na, ay, hindi ko kaya to. Just have to i-synthesize mo muna yung frustration mo before ka mag-jump. Okay. Pag nag-jump ka na, yun na, mag-provide ka na rin ng sarili mong step-by-step process. Okay. Paano ko ba ito aaralin? Ano yung mga kailangan kong aralin dito? What are the timelines? What are the specific topics na meron available sa YouTube, available sa W3 schools, yung mga online platforms na free. Kasi andun lang naman yung resources na kailangan mo. And then once you have that, you can try to practice. One very important thing, ayun, ito napaka-importanting tip. Huwag maging trigger happy sa delete button or delete option. Kasi always think that your data may be connected to another thing. Parang ganun. Yun isa pang dyan. When you're trying to learn something new, always imagine na kunyari yung raw data could be connected to something else. One example would be, ayun, na-delete yung master schema dun sa yung kasi usually ang makikita mo with data engineering dalawang database agad ang gagawin, isang production, isang text. So you can play around with the test, you can delete and ganito. Nakalimutan niya sa production siya gumawa, na-delete niya yung buo. Kasi yung buong schema, so lahat ng mga interconnected tables, lahat ng interconnected na data, patay. Buti may backup. Yun. So, very, very critical siya, lalo na for kapag supposedly front-end ang role mo, tapos you have the option to go into back-end para ensure mong malinis yung data na papasok sa yan. Pag-trigger happy sa delete button. Yun yung isa pang frustration yan.
Ayun, siguro madadagdag ko lang personally sa akin. Medyo naka-relate ako sa question na to in terms of self-doubt. Kasi, ma-share ko lang, grabe talaga yung impostor syndrome ko. Siguro, when I started working abroad talaga din, ibang-iba siya if you're in a international scene. Tapos, babae ako, mostly na mga nakakatrabaho ko is mga, grabe talaga, mga sila, talagang hardcore into programming, tapos mga lalaki pa. So totally, siguro may culture shock din. But napaka-importante siguro is yung, number one, yung acceptance. Siyempre, nobody's perfect. Kailangan i-accept mo lang kung ano yung weaknesses mo and then you work on your weaknesses. Tapos, don't be afraid on sharing that. So for example, you're a career shifter, so I assume you're working already, you're already a working professional. So siguro makakatulong sa iyo yung manager mo or yung kung kanino ka sa work, kung meron doon kang manager or something na pwede mong i-share tong feelings mo, kung feeling mo napaprostrate ka or feeling mo parang hindi ko kaya to, don't be shy na i-open up yon sa manager mo kasi yun talaga din yung nakatulong sa akin. Every time na may frustration ako sa work or every time na parang sa tingin ko hindi ko to kaya, yan na naman si impostor syndrome, feeling ko kaya lang ako nasa trabaho to kasi tinulungan akong makapasok sa work nito. Pero sila kasi yung magbibigay ng different perspective. Kasi minsan nakikita lang natin, medyo nagsaset tayo ng high standard sa sarili natin. Pero sa iba, actually, hindi naman. Sa tingin mo, hindi ka magaling sa ganito, or sa tingin mo, hindi ka parang para dito, or parang hindi mo kaya to. Pero sa iba naman, hindi naman yun yung nakikita nila. Ang nakikita nila is always yung positive side mo. So minsan kasi medyo tayo self-critical sa sarili natin. So siguro, may papayo ko na lang personally, open up mo to sa manager mo, kung kanino yung close sa'yo sa trabaho mo, then don't be afraid to hear perspective of other people din. Kasi minsan tayo, sa tingin natin tayo ganun, pero sa totoo hindi pala. So yan, impostor syndrome. Hu talaga. Ngayon ko na nakita si Sir Jake nandito pala.
Yo.
Hello, Sir Jake! Ayan, one of
Hi, Sir
our
Jake!
Lodi. Grabe, nandito si Sir. Hi, Sir. Next session, si Sir na yung naka-line up for sharing.
Oo nga. Teka. May idadagdag pala ako dun sa ano. Actually, kabaliktaran siya ng imposter syndrome. Overconfidence is also ano, wag niyong isipin na merong term akong natutunan na sa BPO na once ang naging ano doon is napaka-common siya. Take it till you make it. You have to be honest and transparent talaga with regards to your specific tech stacks. Yung talagang alam mo kasi lilitaw siya sa code. Like for example, yung coding mo sa Python. Madaling makita ng ibang tao kung anong style mo. Kapag alam nila na ay GPT to. GPT yan, no? Ganun. So, don't try to overinflate your capacity dahil yun mismo, bibigyan ka ng project na hindi mo kaya. Pero you think na kaya mo, ginawa mo siya, you went through that same process, that ang gawin mo, but it didn't turn out well. And that's another frustration kasi sometimes napag sa atin, di ba? Like for example, for us in any field sa work, sometimes we love to be praised for the good job that we do kasi talagang challenging yung work natin as a data professional. If magiging overly confident ka na kaya mo siya pero hindi pa lang, it might backfire. Definitely it will backfire. So, and what I can say is, you have to have a balance between not feeling that imposter syndrome, hindi ko kaya, and feeling na overconfident feeling na ay kaya ko to. Just think of it as a balance na kaya ko siya but I still have some challenges. And yung ganong mindset and attitude will be providing you one important thing. Mas ma-appreciate ng mga kasama mo at matutulungan din kapag humingi ka ng tulong sa kanila. And you will feel more accomplished pag natapos mo yun. Once natapos yung mga projects na yun. Then it will be a badge of honor as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Sir. Grabe. Super inspiring. And dami kong natutunan. Even me, myself, ang dami kong natutunan and na-realize din sa mga sharing nyo today. May mga questions pa po ba? Shiny object syndrome. First time kayo narinig, sir, ah. Currently po, I am a graduating student and an aspiring data engineer. Very overwhelming po sa dami ng tools at nangyayari po sa nagiging surface level lang alam ko dahil palipat-lipat po ako ng inaaral. Parang ganito po. Airflow, Spark, TLT, Dagster, Hi, head of AWS.
Ay, natatawa ako dyan, Casey, kasi I'm still having that kind of thing. Ano ba ang advice? Yung lagi sinasabi sa akin, maghinay-hinay ka muna. Guilty ako, hindi ko pa siya na-overcome for some reason. Pero yan. before, basta laging advice sa akin, maghunos dili ka. Ano ba talaga ang gusto mo? Yun yung laging sinasabi sa akin. I'm not yet that, on that level na parang masasabi kong kaya ko na. Pero I share your exactly. Ayan, Casey, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Oo, medyo relate din talaga ako doon. Siguro, focus ka sa before jumping on another tool or topic or subject matter. I would advise to focus on one tool muna para hindi ka ma-overwhelm. Ayan si Sir Jake. Choosing between Airflow, Daxter, Reflex is like choosing between Toyota, Honda, or Mitsubishi in a car. It will all bring you to the same destination, but you need to choose saan ka mas komportable. And tama. Tama. Tama talaga eh. Sobrang totoo. Siguro parang mag it's not about the tools, parang it's about yung concept or yung foundational na subject matter, parang ganun. So don't focus sa tool, focus ka dun sa foundation. So for example,
Agree.
sa analogy ni Sir, no? So if you like to drive, mag-focus ka sa driving lesson mo. Huwag kang mag-focus kung ano ba yung ida-drive mo. Tama ba? Parang ganon.
Same. Ano lang, siguro probably it will help din. Sometimes ito yung magiging focus mo. What is the ideal company for you? Kunyari, let's say, IBM. Gusto mo pumasok sa IBM. Anong tools nila doon? Doon ka sometimes it's much better dahil medyo mas clear yung nila. Magiging clear yung mindset mo na ito na lang yung kailangan kong aralin. Kasi sometimes when you try to find out your skills, the obvious objective is actually nagpo-find out ka ng when you go out into sa job market, you're finding out na alam ko tong lahat ng to. And sometimes it would be parang kina-copy paste mo rin yung parang supposed tech stack ng in-expect ng isang company sa mga applicants nila. So we're having that kind of same thing na nakikita doon. Pero when you think about like the ideal company that you want to work for, na-research mo ng mabuti, ano yung gamit nila, paano yung work culture, sino-sino yung mga pwede mong makasalamuha, is their leadership okay, it's doon mas magiging laser focused ka dahil it will narrow your thinking na okay, pag hindi ako nakuha dito sa ideal company ko, there are a lot of other companies that uses the same technology na magagamit ko. And to jump off dun sa sinabi nga ni Miss Casey, with regards na start ka sa basics, start ka sa fundamentals. Kasi pag nag-drive ka, yun, exactly. Same analogy, Sir Jake. And then, sabi nga ni Casey, aralin muna ang pagdadrive. Which is one thing that you will learn and understand. And then, at the same time, kapag nakapasok ka dun based on the tech stack na pagbihasaan mo, or that's your specialty, you go into that specialization and then that leads to expertise. One thing na pwedeng, another option na pwede mong isipin is, ano yung shiny object now, pero kapag nag-die down, sustainable pa rin siya. So, let's say yung analogy ng pearl sago, pearl milk tea, pearl sago, or shawarma nung 90s eh. Sobrang dami ng nagsulputan na shawarma spots nung 90s. Tapos nag-die down yung interest. Tapos nawala siya. Pero bumalik na lang din naman eventually paunti-unti. Pero may mga, like for example, fried chicken, yan. Staple ang fried chicken. Ano uh, yung kailangan mong gawin para makapagluto ka ng excellent na fried chicken. Parang ganun. Same banana pero you will be more focused at that way.
Tama. Thank you, sir. Sir, may last question from fanboy ni Yeji.
Software engineering. Ano pa ang to? There was one stack na parang super helpful sa amin nun. Ako i-share. I'll share this siguro right from the get-go. Meron kami na huli na nag-full, na kinuha namin siya for full stack. Nagde-develop, ang core niya is to develop apps. To develop an app for internal. Tapos siya yung kumbaga from start to finish, end-to-end solution siya. Naging super helpful siya dahil yung skills niya sa software engineering nakatulong sa amin dahil there are some data sources na hindi kami nakakapag-establish ng correct web script and API connections. Dahil hindi namin sobrang kabisado ang Beautiful Soup, hindi namin sobrang kabisado yung particulars with Java, HTML. Dahil hindi kami IT professionals from the start. Most of us actually, yung mga talagang veterans na career shifters din. Yung isa teacher, yung isa technologist, yung isa mechanical, ako chem, yung isa nurse. I mean, nagkaroon kami ng ganong klaseng diversity na naging legitimate career shifters halos kami. Karamihan ng yung mga may experience na sa work, mga tenured. Tapos half din naman is newly graduates ng data science. So hindi siya and we had a challenge na hindi namin masyadong kabisado yung codings with regards to websites. So hindi kami nakapag-web scrape na maayos. You will have a very good practical project when you start to web scrape using Beautiful Soup. Dahil alam mo yung kung nasaan siya sa code ng HTML and JavaScript. You can start from that. And super helpful siya sa amin dahil nakukuha namin yung data na kailangan namin from that web scrape process na ginawa niya. Yun yung share ko. Yun yung pwede ko may share with regards to software engineering.
Yes, very, very, very useful tips. Thank you, sir. Siguro madagdag ko lang, if you are passionate or interested in learning AI, napakaganda ng AI study group natin kasi doon mahahasa ka to also research, present, and also do programming. Maganda rin siyang parang parang project when you want to showcase something to your prospective employer. parang segue lang sa AI study group. Baka you like to participate sa study group na yun. Okay, siguro may questions pa ba o goods na? O goods na ba tayo? Medyo nag-exceed tayo ng 30 minutes. So, thank you sa time ninyo.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm doing some AI stuff, ma. That's nice. Go, go, go. Okay, thank you everyone. See you next session. So next, just a quick announcement, next week, meron tayo yung first AI study group. I think it's same time slot, 8 to 9 p.m. And then the following week, yun yung ating data master session. So we're aiming na i-move siya twice a month na lang instead of every week kasi nga may AI study group tayo. So thank you everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
po.
you, sir. Thank you, Sir Ian. Thank you, Sir Jake. Bye.
Sorry.